which connects women from the in the construction industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only the ninth program, so it is the ninth episodes under the initiative of She Leads. So She Leads is basically the women who have already marked the industry with their presence. We call them on the forum and we have a discussion with them. It's an open forum, like, you can ask questions. Of course, we have also our questions ready. So it's where
Mm-hmm.
they impart about their journey and they talk about what is coming up, or they share anything under the sky, whatever you want to know as such.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the initiatives. Of course, apart from that, we have got monthly meets, which we have been doing now consistently for 2 years. So you have
Mm-hmm.
missed those 24 of them also, then I will say.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And over there,
It's never too late. I can just pitch in from now onwards.
yes, yes,
Yes.
definitely. Dipti, can you play the video? For the visitors, I suggest that if you can just post your LinkedIn, profile in the chat box, it will be a great help for everyone. So this initiative started 2.5 years back. It is Sheetal's brainchild. Of course, Sheetal roped in a few of us like-minded people, and we have been consistently working on this platform and trying to bring women in the construction industry together. It started with awards, the Real Women Awards, where awards, I guess more than 200 women have been already felicitated in under this across the country. We had chapters earlier, but now last year, the last March event saw women across the country being felicitated. Anything right from architect to facility managers, you will find women related to construction industry over here. There are vendors, there are manufacturers, there are consultants, you name it, and they are here.
आ रहे हैं पापा को बोलना वो बुलाओ एक बार वो ब्रेड लेके आ रहा है भैया
Rashida, can you put yourself on mute? Thank you, Dipti. Just for your information, we have got actually the month of September is action packed. We are having our She Leads episode in this week, which is getting followed up with the networking meet in the next week. So that is on the Friday, and we have got our industrial visit to Chennai. Sonali, will you like to speak about it? Sonali? Okay. I guess Sonali.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Sonali.
yeah, it's a industrial visit, very exciting event that we've planned. We are going to visit a 3D printing facility. It's a factory where they're doing 3D printing. We are also going to see what innovation they are doing for material there. Go look at some projects that they've completed, see printing happening there at the factory. And then we are also going to drive through IIT Madras, look at what 3D printing has been done there, and then interact with the faculty from civil engineering, the women faculty. So I think Amita is aware when some years ago there were hardly any women faculty and now there are more. So we want to see what is their experience, just an interaction. And we've got a lot of people excited about this. Quite a few members from Mumbai are also coming. So anybody who's not signed up, please sign up. It's going to be a fun day.
Do sign up. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity to see your 3D printer actually. So please do go to Chennai. Thank you, Dipti. Dipti, can you now pin our two guests, Madhura and Rucha, so that everyone can see them?
Yes, I would like to say one line was something here. Since this whole initiative is about all the ladies, all the women, the first lady civil engineer in Maharashtra is my Masi, Shakuntala Joshi Bhagat, and she is the daughter of my one of my grand uncle, who is a pioneer in civil engineering. We have built around more than 150 bridges all over India and on the rivers. I come from that
Fantastic.
legacy. Yes, yes.
Fantastic, Aarti. So this is amazing. We would like to hear more stories about her.
Yes,
So definitely
certainly.
one day we will keep a session only to hear her stories
Oh,
from you.
certainly, yes.
We also got opportunity. Like Chakuntala was Dr. Kelkar's friend, so we have also worked with her for a few of our bridge projects. I mean, so we
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I think
worked
now,
her office also
yes.
long back. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Quadricon. Yes,
we
yes,
have done
yes.
some work.
So she is my Masi.
Okay.
Yeah. So very fortunate to be from the civil engineering family. And also my father-in-law was in IIT in the civil engineering department. He used to teach concrete technology for more than 50 years. So coming from the
Wow.
civil engineering background, yeah.
I'll definitely connect with you, Aarti, next week
Yes,
sometime. I'll give you a call to hear all this.
yes, sure. Yes,
Yes.
go on.
So something about Madhura. Madhura graduated in 1994 and she did her civil engineering, of course, in Mumbai. And she started working in the structural engineering field. She has been working in Dr. Kelkar's as a, I guess, as an employee. And then later on, now she is like a director out over there. She is known for her precision and also technical approach, innovative approach, and sustainability design practices. And they have built a big legacy. Actually, they have carried out the legacy of Dr. Kelkar Designs. Coming to Rucha, Rucha completed her BE in 2006, right, Rucha? Then she
Yes.
pursued her master's in 2007 in Purdue. And then from 2008, she has been working in her father's firm, I'll say. Okay, Rucha. And now she's a partner in JW Consultants LLP Pune. She is a member of IIT, Institute of Structural Engineers. She is also a member of the Council of Tall Buildings. And I guess you people are working a lot in defining the norms and all for the structural design. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about Madhura. Madhura is my classmate from junior college. So for 2 years, we were in the same class. So we know each other for more than 30 years now. And Rucha, I met for the first time in person. Of course, I had heard about Rucha, but I met her for the first time in our first March meet, and we connected quite well over there. Of course, I grilled her at that time also. So now also I'm going to take a chance and grill you now. So welcome here, Rucha and Madhura. Let's get started with the questions. What, of course, there will be questions which will be coming in the chat box also, which I am going to pester you to answer those two. But right now, first question to Rucha. So, it is like, how did you come in this field? You made a comment right now when you were here that I guess we are the last generation or stupid enough to follow our parents is. So what made you actually pick up engineering, and that too civil engineering? Was it your father's influence, the firm's influence, or it was your passion?
So quite frankly, it wasn't the real plan per se originally. So till the time I passed my 10th, I always wanted to do commerce and I wanted to become a CA. So till my 10th, I was very clear. I was talking to a lot of CAs and getting their guidance as what it should be, how is the career in CA, and very much interested in accounts and finance. But after my 10th, when actually the admission was to be taken in commerce, I realized that if I do that, I won't be able to work on geometry at all ever again. So this is like 10th is the last time I'll be doing geometry, and I love geometry. And then I thought, then I'm making a mistake, a big one. And my inclination is very much towards the structural engineering. So that made it quite clear that I want to do the structural engineering. And since childhood, that's what I had seen. Like whenever I used to go to bed, I have seen my father with the drawings on my dining table working. And when I used to get up, I used to see the same scene. He was working on the drawing. So maybe a different one. I couldn't understand at that time. But since childhood, I knew that if there is a column, I need to make it black. Means I need to put a column. So many of the architects may not like this statement because they love corner windows. But whenever there is a column, I have to make it black. That's the thing that I have grown up with. So yes, structural engineering. Then after that became a natural choice.
So issues at my end or at Rucha's end? I guess Rucha, you are frozen for a few seconds.
Oh, is it? Is it better
Yes.
now?
Yeah, it is better now. Yeah.
Okay. So I think you heard me.
We heard where you were making the columns black.
Okay, so then I was just saying that, yeah, that's what I have learned in my childhood, that whenever there is a corner, I have to put a column since childhood. And many of the architects, as I was saying, may not like this statement because they have love for corner windows, but that's what I have learned. So then after that, it was just a natural path and natural choice for me to become a structural engineer.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I think you have
And then carrying
purposely,
forward the legacy. Yeah.
Trying my
Amita, I think you
best.
have purposely asked her I didn't hear so that she could repeat that architect wala sentence twice, so that we get it right and clear.
Just to put it through.
Very well said.
For Madhura, like, you joined as an employee in a company and then you became owner, a partner in that, purchasing that whole business. So what was going through your mind at that point and what actually helped you to take this decision? It's not very easy, because if you are working in where your actually parents are salaried, and it becomes very
Yes.
difficult for you to
To take
change
that
those gears from being an entrepreneur to an entrepreneur. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
made you do that?
So actually, immediately after my graduation, I joined Dr. Kelkar's firm. I worked with him for almost 7 years, and then actually I switched the job for taking industrial experience. And that time, Dr. Kelkar was around 60, 62 years old. So I met him again within few months, and then he offered that we can run a company in his name, and he would be only act as an advisory capacity. So I
Oh,
was not very sure whether I will be able to do that because my daughter was just 2 years old. So taking that decision was a big risk for me at that time. But then I discussed with my father-in-law, and he is a business person. So he encouraged me that I should not lose this opportunity. And then me and my colleague started Dr. Kelkar Associates, a very tiny partnership firm in a small residential area with only two engineers. And Dr. Kelkar was coming there, and he used to advise us like on whatever problems we had. But we had to actually start right from zero. And then, as you said
oh,
correctly, yeah, I mean, we just had like five employees total. So, and as you said rightly, working as employee had helped me a lot because I could understand their mindset, and then it helped me to like being uh, having that side also along with employees. So that was easy for me.
so it is more you are compassionate towards the employees also. It brings a
Yes,
perspective.
yes. I mean, from their perspective, also we can see the things. I mean, both sides.
I understand. I can understand. So, like, I have also been an entrepreneur for a major portion of my career, and now I'm an entrepreneur. I also try to look
Yeah,
sometimes at
I
my.
mean, we can relate
I
the things because we have gone through that. I mean, that's
we have gone through that. Yeah. So now, Rucha, one question to you. Like, when you started in the company, did you start right from the bottom, or like, you were handed it in the platter? Like, okay, now you're the partner in this company.
My father and Joshi sir both are absolutely old school, and they wouldn't do it at all. I mean, till today, there are a few management people who are, even though I am called partner, I'll never ever go to them and instruct them anything or want them to work according to what I am saying. I will go to them always for an advice, because that's how we are, that's how our bringing up is. And I wouldn't say that I started right from the bottom, so I was not really called a junior engineer ever. In our society, it's the mindset that they will always feel that I am there somewhere, but the biggest advantage that I had was I was there with a proper education. I was there with masters in structural engineering. I was not there just because I was Vatvesa's daughter. And I had come with some special education from outside, from United States, where actually I had a privilege to work on different kind of projects, where different kind of experiments, like in Purdue, in our lab, we actually constructed full-scale three-storied building and applied the force and checked how it will behave in earthquake engineering. So that kind of hands-on experience I had when I started back in the office. However, I was not having any team when I started working. I was working as a lone engineer with one draftsman, and from there we started. And then thereafter, we started building our own teams, and then the confidence building happened between our office that yes, she can solve my problems. And then only it actually started becoming true partner. Yes, on paper I was a partner always, but not on the working style, not on in the office. So that confidence building happened because I started without a team and started just the way they started. Yes, I was privileged to get bigger projects at the beginning and better experience, faster experience, but not the true owner experience.
So, in when you talked about this, so what has been the biggest challenge you have faced? Of course, you talked about, you never go to that management, at the top management, and you only ask for their advice and not give instructions. But apart from that, what has been the biggest challenge in this entire journey for?
Biggest challenge is to prove to them that, again, as I said, I am not here just because, yes, I am here because I'm Vatvesa's daughter, no doubt about it. I'm not taking that away from anyone, but I am not here only because of that. I am here because I have structural engineering knowledge. I have some uh, basic IQ, I would say, and I can help you. So that confidence building into their minds was the biggest challenge. But I didn't force it. I never tried to accelerate it. It took its own sweet time, and I was perfectly fine with it.
Okay, great to know that. Because it's very difficult. I guess we all know, we hear stories about Arjun Tendulkar, Abhishek Bachchan, who are like in the shadow of their parents, or in the father's shadow. So it's great that you have made your presence felt in the industry. Yeah,
So if
Ruja,
I
you want
may
to say
add,
something?
yeah, so
Yeah.
if I may add, in early years, people used to always tell me that you have a big shoes to fill in. But somehow I never thought that I need to fill those shoes. Those are too big for me. I mean, and they'll keep on growing, because as I gain experience, also their age is increasing and their experience is increasing. I'm here to complement. I'm here to make it bigger than what it is, and not to fill their shoes. It's not the reason why I'm here. So yeah, it's different.
I understand. So, Madhura, Dr. Kelkar had already made his mark in the industry. Like, there must be some set, even when you work, you must have seen that how the things are moving in a company. So, what was your first instinction or first instinctive change, what you did when you took over the business?
It was a huge responsibility on us when we actually took his name, because we wanted to carry his legacy forward. So when we started, I remember one of our clients had told me that since Dr. Kelkar has given his name to you, though he must be having complete faith on you. So it stayed with me actually. And then because every decision we made or every drawing we issued, we knew that we Dr. Kelkar's name is on stake. So even in our engineers, we have percolated that you have to be extra careful because we are using his name and his legacy. So I remember in 2002, we had just started, like it was 1 or 2 years, and then one architect told our client that Dr. Kelkar is no more looking after the company. So he had actually written us a letter that it was 23-story building, that even our site engineers are having experience more than 10 to 15 years. So how our consultant can have only 7 or 8 years experience? So Dr. Kelkar had come with me, we met him. Then he asked Dr. Kelkar to sign the drawings along with my signature, but that
Whoa.
happened only, yeah. So that happened only till the foundation drawing. Within 4 to 5 months we developed that confidence on us. So next drawings he didn't have to sign. So we had to actually struggle and develop that faith on us, that okay, we can also design, we can also deliver drawings properly. So that struggle was there initially, but then we could get more and more projects from him actually then later.
Fantastic. So you proved. You proved
Yeah,
yourself. You
I
proved the
think so.
firms. Yeah, yeah. I understand.
So we
So,
always followed one motto in our office, that follow quality, quantity will follow, and actually it proved. So you have to just follow quality and keep on working. The projects will automatically come.
so Mathura, has any time, any date has happened that Dr. Kelkar has walked in? I saw him in your office last time also when I was there. So like he has come and he has said that Mathura, I'm proud of what you are doing, and like what has he praised you for most? So
His
what is
nature,
that one thing?
I mean, his nature, he'll never say something like that. I'm actually dying to hear this from him, but I know that he is proud. I mean, because now from two engineers, now our firm is having like 120 employees. So we have taken it to that level. So I'm sure he must be proud.
Okay, so
In
you
that
can
generation,
definitely.
people never say, even my mother and father have never told me that, okay, you have achieved something in life. They will never say that, but we know that they are proud of it.
I guess it is same for our generation where our
Yeah.
parents never praised, superiors never praised. I, I, I understand. Okay, so Rucha, what about you? Like there were already set practices or set ways of working in the organization, because JW has been a part of this industry for a very long time, and huge. I should say, how much percentage of the Mumbai skyline they must have developed?
It's just a number. Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. Okay, let's not go there. But what are those some practices which you say you will still stick to, and what are those practices you felt that they need to be changed?
So, something that I'll stick to is our legacy, or the office. JW has again similar grown from 4 employees to now 425. So, with such a large number, we are kind of family business. Even though we have crossed 400 number and we have gone ahead with it, I personally still have open door policy. So any staff member at any level, junior, senior, irrespective of the post, can just come in and tell me any problem, any issues that they have. So, however big we become, however professional we become, for the outside world, for inner circle, will always be a family. So, the entire staff will always be my family. Even if the person has joined as a fresher, I would like to connect with him. I would like to understand his. It is very time consuming, but I'll try to maintain that as a policy that has been there for a very long time. So that is something that I would like to continue. Whatever has been done so far in our office, but I would try to make it more professional. We as a structural engineers, Madhura may or may not agree with me, are not as professional and as forthcoming as rest of the fraternity in the construction industry. So we really need to work on that, and we really need to become more professional, more upfront, and we need to teach that to our staff. So that is something that I would like to inculcate in our office.
Yeah, I agree, Rucha, because our fraternity, we are not together. All the consultants, everyone has different. So we all should, like architects, they have their own body. We have ISSC, but we are not discussing actually problems. So I've been discussing this with Mr. Vatve and everyone else. But let's see. I mean, I'm sure in future that will happen, and we'll have something like united.
Yeah, just the way we are saying nobody wants to go to civil engineering anymore. That's
Yes,
where our
yes.
problem is.
I was just just something, like Dharavi is coming, and we're just discussing. Of course, I have quoted for that project also. So it's a mind-boggling number for construction. We were just calculating how much cubic meter of concrete will be required on a daily basis. इतना करने के लिए भी companies नहीं है, लेकिन फिर when you are talking about, even people don't want to join civil engineers.
Yes.
How is it going to happen? This is going to be a big
Correct.
question, big challenge going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we all need to do something about it. If we can reach out to the, to students. So, and Rupali is there. We can take Rupali's help. Rupali already does a lot of work in that zone, that area. And we should try to bring in people more towards civil engineering. This is a platform where we can actually showcase what is possible in construction, and what can actually help, actually inspire students to join this industry. And it is not so this will not come as a problem only for civil engineering, but will be related to all parts of construction industry. So this is what I feel. Of course, this is my yeah. So just you made, Rucha, one point, that this is the legacy which you are carrying. So Madhura, this is question to you. You have now worked in the industry for 30 plus years. You must have seen the client expectations changing. So what has changed the most? Are the wants from them the same, or it has changed?
Earlier, client used to have a lot of faith on consultants. I mean, once we give some decision, I mean, they never used to question why and how and all those things. But now they have their own structural department also. So every decision we give, we are being questions. We have been asked to give like analysis of that, and then calculations and why, justify, and all those things. So that is one change which has happened. Then I think the budget was important earlier, but the safety was first and the budget was secondary. And now, of course, safety, we don't I mean, nobody says that you should compromise safety, but then economy, like to micro level, each and every, like you just make, instead of 10 bars, make it 8 bars, such kind of comments we are getting. So that perspective has changed. Then I think project timelines were much longer. At that time the project size was less, but now the project size have increased, but the timelines are like everything they want yesterday. So it's become very stressful to adapt all these things, I mean. And plus, I mean, I remember one incident. One client had sent me WhatsApp message, and I usually don't check WhatsApp when I'm working in office or checking the drawings. And like in 1 hour's time, he called me and he said, "Why have you not answered my WhatsApp message?" So I told him that I don't check WhatsApp message. If you have any urgent thing, you can just give me a call. And even clients like junior engineers, if our associates or engineers don't pick up the phone, they will call me and ask, "Why he's not picking up the phone? What happened?" So that is becoming really stressful nowadays. It has changed a lot. People had patience earlier. Now, no patience with, and nobody has that patience to wait and then, wait for the reply.
Yeah, I understand. So just something what me and Madhura were discussing. We are working on the same project, and I asked her, "कितना revisions करोगी यार? मुझे कितना rework करना पड़ेगा?" But I can relate to her because she's saying is that the client is more demanding now. They have got their own scrutiny happening at
Yes.
their end.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
Rucha,
the progress is more important. Yeah, you have to consider. That's it. Other things you have to take care. And we are not getting paid also for any changes. That's a sad part about it.
so Rucha, you are in US, right? So the things work differently outside India. Things work in India totally different. So they talk about, all the designs are in place, all drawings are in place, and then only you start construction. But in India, you have seen that actually construction starts when maybe structural design is somewhere just schematic closed and your framing plans are done, and DD maybe 15%, 50% is done. And so, what do you feel? Is this correct, or there needs to be a change done in India, and how we can bring in that change?
Of course, the change is required, and it is the correct practice to finish all the design and then start the construction. Whether or not it is practical is a big question mark, because the amount of work that is happening in India or in Pune, Mumbai, the metros, what I mean is nowhere close to amount of work which is happening in other countries. So is it really feasible to close everything and then start the project? Our approval process itself takes an year's time. So once the approval is in hand, does our client have time to wait and finish all GFC drawings and then start the construction? Their interest costs are so high that can they really afford to do that is the question. So i- in order to squeeze those timelines, exactly what happens, what Madhura was just explaining, the all the stages start becoming one, and then we have to work much faster than we used to. At the same time, client is changing the brief, the market requirements are changing. With RERA, it has reduced quite some in last few years, but still the site requirements, the site conditions keep on changing, and we have to accommodate it. So all these things do not happen in those countries. They have to put entire set, including structural designs, to the municipal submission, and they also take the responsibility, they approve, and then only work can start. Here we don't need to do that. I mean, we do have a high rise committee and all of that, but they don't check our reinforcement, they just check the basic concrete sections and the analysis. So yes, that's the right way to do it. At few projects it does happen, but can it happen for all projects? We should thrive for that, but whether or not it is practical always, I'm not very sure, and whether or not our clients can afford it, because if our clients cannot afford that project, then no point in just doing a proper design and then making them not do any profit on it.
Amita,
So
I would like to add something here. Like Dr. Kelkar has been working in UAE since long time. So
yes.
even we had our office there. So there, the practice is we complete all the design. We prepare the drawing for tender, which are actually GFC drawings. So we have been used to working in that style for many years. I mean, in 2006, 2008, we were doing more UAE projects than in India, and we were actually happy doing that. And that's the time when Dr. Kelkar also wanted to come back, and then we formed Dr. Kelkar Designs, wherein me, Ashish, and Dr. Kelkar, we three are directors. So we tried to like explain developers that that will be very profitable for everyone if you complete all the GFC drawings before even starting the project. But as Rucha said, practically that is not possible here, because many times the sales requirement change even after issuing the foundation drawing. Then we have
Yes.
to change. That kind of thing doesn't happen in UAE, because there they have fixed budgets, they fix drawings, which they don't change once we submit the tender drawings actually. So
So,
that's an ideal
so there is a
situation. I mean, here also, and few companies have told us that we practice like that, and we have to finish all the drawings in 150 days or something like that. But that has happened only very few projects. I mean, yeah, never happened.
So there are a couple of questions, very interesting questions. So one question maybe Rucha you can address is, Madhura talked about cost. You also talked about budgets. So generally what happens is, and I'm a cost consultant. So when at the concept level, when we do the costing, we plug a number for reinforcement and concrete on cubic meter per square feet or kg per square feet. How do you control that? So of course, this has come from experience also. Now we also compare, we also do some benchmarking, we get some numbers, we also speak to consultants. So when we do our budgets, we are also speaking to the consultants, structural consultants for that particular project. But there is a number which is given, say it is 6 kg per square feet or a 7 kg per square feet. So how do you manage that? Sometimes as changes keep on happening, or there are dynamics which happen at site also. You realize that, okay, instead of getting a proper good soil capacity, soil bearing capacity, something changes. How do you manage them? Because it's a commitment given to the client. Again, it will maybe make or break a project. So kaise karte hain?
So, principally, we never ever give a number unless and until concept design is closed. So, there are developers, there are clients who ask for the number at the time of quotation, to which we refuse. We tell them we won't even quote if you want to do that. हम तराजू लेके डिजाइन नहीं कर सकते. We will do the design, what जो quantity आएगा वो आएगा. So, unless and until concept design is closed, we do not give any number. And while giving that number, the assumptions are listed down. So, if any parameter is changing for whatever reason, market forces, architectural requirements, site condition, then at each and every point, we highlight to them that, see, this is what you require. Fair enough. This is the requirement. Product is becoming better, or this is a site constraint. We have to accommodate it. But this is the impact of that, whether reduction or increment, whatever it is. This is the impact. And once concept is closed, once SD is closed, we try to give them comparatives. That if you do this, the number will go down to this thing. If you do this, the number will come to this. So we try to do all of that, and generally, knowingly, unknowingly, we create a range. So that after the GFCs are done, we have the range. We don't have a number per se. So that plus minus 5% becomes a range, and we have that background as why it happened. It's a very important and sensitive topic, especially in today's scenario. But we try to be in that range, and at each and every step, we try to educate them why and when.
Yeah, I agree. As Rucha said, if somebody is giving the constant before even a concept is done, it's completely wrong. I mean, no consultant can give the number before even the concept is completed. And we have lost few of the projects. Like somebody told that, yeah, we can do this project in say 5 kg per square feet, and we said, no, I don't think it's possible. Then we just don't take up that project. I mean, because it's better not to go for that. I mean, instead of just
we don't want to work with such clients.
with such clients. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I have been a part of a corporate where, and I have been in doing costing, especially before deal signing. We have to make assumptions, and you just can't help, because based on those numbers only they come to know whether the deal is profitable or not. So yes, I have to take a part blame for this. So just one question which Puneet has asked, which is a very, very critical question, is that there's all these things happening, this changes coming in. Do you feel that any policy decisions would help in making this process more streamlined? Madhura?
Yeah, policy decision as in at every stage we should have sign off. That's what I feel.
Not in that particular thing, what you talked about, that suddenly the configuration changes, or there are so many internal changes, design changes which are happening post actually you completing one set of drawings also.
Yes.
I don't know, GFC I talked about, you will not believe we were doing a BBS for a R19, so 19th revision of a GFC drawing.
Yes.
So do you think there should be some policy, and then how do we influence to bring it?
See, the changes are done by clients, so it's their requirements. So even if we resist, they said we have to do it. I mean, if at all we want extra amount, then they will ask. We can ask for that, but either we'll have to leave the project or do the client's requirements. It's like that. I mean, what we can do is just, as I said, every stage we should have control on that. And as Rucha said, we generally keep a track that these are the constants which we had committed, and these are the changes which happened later because
Which
of
has
the
happened.
number has changed. But that is another exercise we have. I was telling you the earlier days and now, I mean, the days which we have changed. So that is one thing which we have to keep track, and extra efforts we have to take, so that nobody can blame us that you had committed something, some number, and then it has either like gone up or down or whatever. I mean, so
But has this all, Ruja, has this impacted the quality of drawings, quality of design? So we talked about speed, we talk about client requirements changing frequently. Uh, so has it impacted the quality of structural design?
I won't say it has impacted quality of structural design, because whoever says we design what we design, and then what quantity and everything else is just a byproduct. But sometimes if a particular client is very critical and keeps changing continuously, the options that I talked about, we don't end up giving, because then we are like, just get out of this project.
yes.
Instead of giving them a bouquet of options and then the cost and the economics and all of that, we are just, because then it's just the way I said, that the product or the project has to be profitable for the client, it has to be profitable for our consultancy services as well. So after a point, if they keep on changing everything, then at all the time, we also try to reduce our manners, not with respect to the quality, but with respect to the kind of services we give.
Okay.
Yeah, frankly, Amita,
I
we can't afford to compromise on quality, because based
Yeah,
on our drawings, is the
it's
buildings are
safety.
actually constructed. We always
uh,
say in the
uh,
office that any doctor is doing operation, he is operating on one person. But when we are delivering the drawings and building, I mean, constructing a building, that time the people staying in that building, everyone's is going to get affected
No,
if
so
something goes wrong.
I am not per se saying with respect to quality of construction or quality. So, you talked about reduce, client comes to you and says, कि अरे 10 mm का 8 mm कर दो. So I guess then you people also do not have that much time actually to review the drawing, because ऐसे फैक्ट्री हो जाती है ना कि मुझे drawings बेचने हैं. The
No, but we
timelines have,
don't. We
you
don't.
don't.
No, if a
Yes,
client comes and asks 8 mm instead of 10 mm, we refuse.
we refuse,
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay. So, have you both set certain processes within your organization where people follow, okay, after this I have to do this stage? कुछ है ऐसा in place as such?
So,
है?
Rucha, you want to talk
Checklist
about
and all that stuff?
No, Madhura, go ahead,
And
go ahead.
then,
I think every structural consultant has their own practices and internal checklists. Without that, we won't be able to deliver the drawings with such a pace. So there are mechanical things which they are set in. I think Rucha, even your office must be having those. So that is a requirement of today. Like without that, we can't do the drawings and delivery so fast.
so again, has the checklist changed over a period of time?
Yeah, it keeps changing because codes are changing, then the norms, industry norms are
Oh,
changing, so you have to keep updating that. I mean,
Yes, the
okay.
checklist has changed, and there are a lot of additions also.
yes,
Some things which we used to feel that this is obvious. Obviously, the engineer will check this. Nowadays, we can't take that risk with all due respect to all new Gen Zs on the call. We can't take that risk. All those parameters have increased on our checklists.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and that
But,
last check is utmost required, like before issuing the GFC, the logical change which we say, like because Dr. Ketkar now also does the things by hand calculations, so that logical check at the end is a must. I mean,
Yeah.
before issuing a
so
GFC.
You are now, well established. Both the firms, like you talk about JW or Dr. Kelkar, they are well established. But there are many more new structural, small firms coming in. You will not believe. Means one project which I was working on, we there were 3 buildings, okay, and all were 2 podiums plus 34-story tall, and we were working on the BBS of. We were preparing the bar bending schedules for the client. We found that the every building, the design has been done differently. For one tower, the reinforcement has changed from floor to floor. In another tower, the designer has used 5 floors as a band, and he has designed it something similar. And the third was a combination of this two. So it was a new firm who was doing it. So maybe they didn't have any processes set. But do you have you established something in your organization where people have to follow the strict guidelines? Okay, no, this is how you have to do it. Because every, if you look at these 3 designs, it is not a problem. Say, okay, I am, my client pays me for doing the BBS, I do it. But it's a big hassle even for the contractor to do it, changing reinforcement on every floor, preparing the bar bending schedule at there and getting it cut done. So what do you believe in? What are your major beliefs when you are doing the structural design?
So, Rucha, you want to say, or should I continue?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So,
Rucha can add later on her
Yeah.
if you have something on Madhura.
Yeah.
okay, so see, these new engineers, for them, new softwares are introduced, and it's like garbage in, garbage out. They are not really checking. As I said, logical checking is not done. So that's why we have set some processes which every engineer has to follow, and their associate, like their senior engineers, will check whether it has been followed or not. And we have given a marking system for each person. Like they get marks if they do any mistake. At the end of the month, we evaluate everything so that next month they do not repeat those. I mean, that kind of things we have started now, because otherwise there is no control. Now, okay, we have made a mistake, it's okay, done, what to do next. So when we are giving this marks, even they have that responsibility. Okay, I shouldn't have more score in the next month. So that kind of things we are implementing. So that mechanical process everyone has to follow.
So it's basically more of a feedback mechanism out over there, Madhura, at your
Yes.
end. But then you have something in set, like, there is a person who is doing it, then there is a checker. So how many checks does in your company, how many checks happen?
See, junior engineer will design, then their senior engineer will just go through that, and maybe last check would be either mine or the senior
Ashish,
associate. No, senior associate. I mean, we have several
senior.
associates now. So,
Okay.
but before that, I mean, before that yellow red thing, our drawing doesn't go out of office. I mean, that you can see like that yellow and red check is must. And I have instructed, like I've learned from Dr. Kelkar only, that drawing, there should be no black in the drawing. So everything has to be yellow or red. So that kind of checking has to be done. I mean, I generally believe that we should take hard copies and check the drawings and not on the soft copy, because there are chances that you miss something in the soft copy. These Gen Z people, they like to do everything on soft copy, but I can't check, frankly. I mean, without hard copy and without doing yellow red, I can't do anything.
Rucha, would you like to add something in this?
No, something similar happens in our office as well, because the scale at which Madhura's office or our office works, if we don't have those kind of processes and if we don't have that maker checker system, then it will go haywire. And our field is such that it is very, very critical that we have every single beam. As I always tell all our freshers getting inducted, that you were getting distinction, you were getting 80% marks, and you were I mean, people used to congratulate you and your parents were very happy. But here, you cannot have 80% correct design. You have to have 100% correct design. Even one single column design incorrectly can create a havoc. So make sure that nobody is going to congratulate you for getting 80% correct. You have to be 100% correct every single time. So that's how the processes need to be, and that's how critical the checks have to be.
Fantastic. So now a question. We have got a lot of architects right now who have joined, and there are civil engineers who have worked in the industry also. So one question, structure to design, rather structure to architect or architect to structure. What do you believe in?
Both together.
Yeah, it hand in hand. I mean,
It's hand in hand. I mean, we keep telling all our clients, I'm sure that is the case with Madhura and her firm as well, that please don't send us finalized drawings. Please involve us right from the concept stage. Then and then only you will get a better product. Otherwise, you are not going to get a good economical
yeah.
product.
Economy can be achieved only if we are involved in concept stage. I mean, otherwise, if we have certain like plans which are already finalized, we can't do much about it. I mean,
Yeah.
So interesting, because I will talk about it later one to one or with both of you about it. So compared to 25 years ago or 15 years ago, has there been any change in the collaboration happening with architects and the other consultants on board? So Madhura, you would like to talk about it?
uh, you're talking about the challenges or like exactly?
Earlier it was more like कि architect आ गया design कर दिया, so technology was
Yeah.
as you said, it was more on hard copy, so it
Yes.
was more in person, but
Yeah, I
things
mean,
have. So
yeah.
have you seen the changes happening in
Yes,
the way you are presenting projects?
I have worked when the drawings were done manually, and then AutoCAD was started after I joined in. I mean, the consultancy firm after say maybe 3 4 years. So things have changed a lot. The project complexities have been changed. Then the BIM platform has actually the work has increased a lot because clash free model has to be there. Without that, we can't issue the drawings, and all those things are new now, which are actually time consuming. So as a structural consultants, we have only 4 5 elements like beam, column, slabs, but then still we have to wait till MEP and architects complete their beam model and then extract from Revit and issue the drawings. So that is becoming really challenging and time consuming, and plus to adhere with the timeline. So that is what is being difficult, becoming difficult nowadays. I mean,
So you are saying collaboration earlier was easy and now it has become difficult, or
no,
it was?
no, it's not like that. I mean, it is not about easy or hard. It is about time. The time
Okay.
required for issuing the drawings, yeah, has become to like very high compared to earlier, because earlier we didn't have any dependencies as such on MEP consultants and all those things for completing the BIM model. That's what I want to say. I mean, we just used to discuss
Yeah,
on 2D, finish the coordination, and issue the drawings. I mean, and now
I am.
yeah, so that BIM thing has becoming really challenging for us. I mean, to issue that, which I will agree, because the clash free model and all those things. So there are a lot of dependencies and coordination required to large extent with MEP and architects, which was not there earlier. I mean,
I
not there.
guess, but maybe they are solving a lot of problems at site when actually construction is happening. So, has it actually reduced the RFIs coming from site then?
Yeah, a bit, because they have Revit model, but then client engineers also have to be equipped with BIM model. The problem is they are not used to referring to BIM. Only the
Okay.
BIM team will do that, and the site people and the engineers who are actually working on it, they don't have that knowledge. If
They'll still
everyone,
work on 2D.
yes, so if everyone starts working on BIM, no, then the things will become really very easy and fast. I mean, so that education has to be there till the ground level. I mean, so that's the problem.
So just taking this from Madhura and Rucha, so BIM is a new technology which has come now. AI is also there. Softwares have changed, like STAD, and there have been changes happening in the structural design softwares also. So how are you? Apart from that, there is technology which is changing. So construction technology, people used to go for say column beam conventional shuttering. It has shifted to Maiwan. People are now talking about precast. They are talking about PPVC. So, how are you incorporating this in design? Do you see a major disruption happening going ahead?
I think disruption has been happening continuously. I mean, because all these technologies that you mentioned haven't come today. They have been introducing itself for last 10 years. So, major disruption which actually happened in the structural engineering was with her code revision in 2016, because that changed after 15 years or 14 years. Earlier was 2002, and then it happened in 2016. So that was the huge change in the code that happened, and actually the structural engineering was disrupted hugely. It was a huge learning curve for all the old school structural engineers as well, because the code language itself completely changed. And there was a lot of learning that we had to, a lot of convincing that had to go towards the clients and the architects as well. So that was the biggest disruption with respect to structural engineering during this time. Yes, with the new technology of precast and the software, for example, we started using ETABS in 2007
ETABS,
till
yes.
2008, I would say. Until then, the entire office was on STAD, and suddenly we started insisting on ETABS. So there was huge resistance. Obviously, I mean, any new technology, any new software, there is a resistance. So that it's a learning curve which you have to go through those labor pains to achieve that product. So we have to go through it, but these disruptions are good. They keep us on our toes, and we learn something new, and it's fun. That's the whole fun part of being a structural engineer, I feel.
Amita, I mean, this all these new engineers won't believe, but I have worked on ETABS which was DOS based. I mean, I don't know whether Rucha, because you must be very young that time, but we had to actually manually enter all the numbers,
Yes,
and there was no visual thing, because because
correct,
of the international exposure, we could have like software ETABS and then AutoCAD very early in our office, because from Abu Dhabi, Dr. Kelkar had brought it that time. So that time it was DOS based. So we actually manually enter. It was taking a lot of time for just making one model, and there was no
correct.
graphic. So,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
come from that point now to all this Revit. So it's a journey, and as and when it changes, we have to keep updating yourself. I mean, so
Do you feel AI will bring a lot of change now, Rucha? Like, you talked about a major change due to a change in IS code, but will AI bring another disruption in the this? Because AI mein to aajkal you get a small programs also there. You just type out, okay, I want a program for this, you're getting it out. So will it impact the structural design?
It's going to impact everything. So why leave structural design aside? So of course it will impact structural design. It will impact the mindset of new structural engineers, because
Okay.
um it's AI will give you some answer, correct, wrong, nobody knows, but it will give you some answer, and unless and until your concepts are correct, you won't know whether that answer is correct or incorrect. So that's how the disruption will affect structural engineering with respect to AI, I feel. But if we make use of it correctly, if we get onto that journey today, then it will help as well.
I guess there are a lot of questions in the chat box which I have ignored till now. A few of them I would definitely have asked. Sorry, so going back to there, one but before going there, which has been for it's both of you, which has been the most memorable project for you, which you are very proud about?
So I recollect two projects actually. One, Hotel Yas Marina, which is in Abu Dhabi. So there are two hotels and connected with a bridge, and there is a Formula One racetrack going below that. So they wanted,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So that, yeah. So Aldar was a contractor, and they wanted to complete the project in 1.5 years time. It was like around 18-20 lakh square feet project, because they wanted to open that Formula One race. So we
Yes.
had to depute two engineers and two draftsmen on site, and I used to travel every Friday to Abu Dhabi, Friday, Saturday, because that time Saturday, Sunday was working there. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I used to work there, come back to office, work here from Monday to again go back. That I did for almost 3 to 4 months. And
Wow.
we were parallelly designing, and we could interact with Aldar people, then Dr. Schlaik, who did the great grid shell, then Arup, who was designing the bridge. So we had to interact with all those firms for taking the forces on the structure and design the structure. So that was the very prestigious project, I would say. And one project we did in India, that was the largest cancer hospital in Varanasi. So Honorable Prime Minister and late Mr. Ratan Tata inaugurated that. So that was also very fast track. It's a composite building, and we completed the design in 4 months' time, and the construction was completed in a year's time. I mean, that was also 6.5 lakh square feet. So those two projects I will always remember. I mean,
What about you, Rucha?
For me, it has to be Minerva, which is even today's tallest building
Tallest
in
building.
Mumbai,
Mumbai.
residential. So it took very, very, very long time to construct because of whatever multiple reasons that we talked about since we started. But it started in 2010. A few of my early projects, and hence, as I told you, I started right from the basics. So I myself have designed, modeled each and every element of that particular project without any team. So many times I have drafted, I have taken the prints home because one wall of that project is 1200 by 30-meter long. So only one A1 print could take care of link details of one wall. And I used to actually bend on the dining table and do the marking. So it was fun, and I learned a lot on that project. And I feel absolute privileged to be able to work on that project because it had everything. It had last minute architectural changes because we changed the building after a few floors. It was old DCR, then we designed it as per new DCR. It had belt, outrigger, pile draft. I had an opportunity to work with Dr. Ganpule. If anyone of you know, Madhura of course knows him. So right from that to the dampers to two different wind tunnel agencies doing that project, comparing the two. So it was an absolute roller coaster for good 15 years working on the same project. So yes, that is and will always be very close to my heart.
Fantastic. I can, relate to it because yes, changes in the project happening during the lifetime. You lose patience also, but you have to be if you are interested, you're passionate about it, it just drives you ahead.
Yeah.
So we'll go back to, we are all women, so this is a typical question. So as a woman, did you face any problems in this industry? So Madhura, male dominated, your partner is
yeah, but Amita, really, I don't feel that as a structural consultancy field is a male-dominated industry.
okay.
And as a woman, I never had issues like going to site, going to the basement, checking 2.5 meter deep raft and everything. I never had problems. I used to climb down from the ladder. So even our engineers in our office, they had never said that since I'm a woman, I can't do that. I mean, so I feel being a woman, I don't think there was any problem in office or inside. Yes, but
That's right.
earlier days when I used to go to two-tier cities, no, so they were not used to a woman coming and checking the sites. I mean, so now that has also changed. But otherwise, I mean, I never had any problem as such. Yeah, but
Okay.
being a woman as a career itself, we have to have such responsibilities that manage home and office. All those things are there. But at least our generation, people have that mindset that, yeah, woman has to take care of the household things. And this generation, it might have changed, but still, and that was my perspective only, that I have to take care of everything, and nobody else at home told me that. But then I love cooking, so I want to do everything at home for Diwali, taking faral or like achars, masalas and all those things. So that took a toll on me sometimes, but I enjoyed it. So I don't think that should be any problem as such, considering a woman. I mean.
Rucha, so Joshi sir, Watve sir being old school and all. So coming a woman leader joining them. So did the perspective change? Did you bring a different perspective to the organization in the culture? You talked about a family culture, of course. बाई आली की बाई म्हणजे some
Yeah.
मायाळू. Sorry, but did you bring a different perspective in the organization?
But after so many years, actually, they say that. And very often, especially Zoshi sir, tell my mother, thank God you gave birth to a daughter and not to a son. Because then the entire office culture, office perspective has changed. We have become, rather, I am very, very approachable. So the staff feel extremely confident and comfortable to come and tell me that I need a promotion for those reasons, or I have a problem and I want to quit. So, or I have a house problem and please solve it, or I have a medical problem, which hospital should I go to? So, this kind of comfort level, by nature, I feel women are better listeners than men, so that helps. And yes, it has become more family oriented, just the way they used to like it than earlier, because maybe a few things people, the staff couldn't talk to them, which they can easily talk to me.
Yeah, and plus I feel, Amita, women can are capable of taking more stress than men and doing multitasking. I mean, even I've observed that if you compare drawing checking, no, the woman can do it better than men can do. So that is what is my observation.
So in my office, the cost also, the final review has to be mine rather
Yes.
than anyone else. I also go by that. Okay. So, Madhura, where do you see your firm in the next 10, 15 years? You are in your 50s. We are of the same age. So
Yeah.
I can talk about that, 10 years or 15 years when you are somewhere, okay, thinking of, okay, now I want to step away, not step down, but step a little bit away. Where do you feel your firm will be?
Actually, we are in from COVID. During COVID time, actually, everybody thought that there will be a problem in industries, but luckily, our field, like civil engineering, actually started booming after COVID.
Oh,
So,
yes.
I mean, even our staff, we doubled the staff after COVID, and the project sizes have changed. There are more challenges. So, I am actually enjoying it. And now we have our 7 associates who have staff under them. So I've told them it's like office in office. So you have to grow, then office also will grow. And with AI coming in, I see that a lot of opportunities and becoming more and more like growing more and more. I mean, in future. So definitely not retiring very soon because Dr. Kelkar
So,
himself is.
so I'm saying stepping a little bit away. I said,
Yeah,
like I'll be
I
more.
mean, now
You
at least
taking
I can, yeah, now at least I can afford to take rest, go for a holidays more often than I used to do earlier. I mean, I remember before COVID time, I don't remember a single day I've come home before 9:30, and
okay.
compromised a lot of things earlier because we had to build the company. So, but now I can, yeah, relax a bit. I mean,
So, Rucha, what is your one piece? When we were speaking in one of the meets, you talked about, I'll talk about the level or the quality of engineers or the freshers available in the market. But do you have any one piece of advice to the next generation of these engineers?
There is no shortcut to hard work. Whether or not you're carrying a legacy, whether you're not, whether you're starting from lowermost level, whether you're not, there is absolutely no shortcut to hard work. One thing that they all should remember is hard work is about smart working, but as well as putting those many hours, because that only gains a lot of experience. You cannot accelerate experience. You cannot do any shortcuts to the hard work. So that is the biggest advice that I would have to all young generation. But along with that, to all structural engineers, I have a request more than advice that please, please, please visit sites. People have stopped visiting sites, and you cannot ever be a good structural engineer, however good software operator you are, without visiting construction sites. So please step your foot on that concrete. Your shoes must be filled with that concrete dust. Then only you can learn.
Oh, I can understand from where, because same thing happens at our end also. It must be with all consultants and all architects. Hands-on learning is much more. It gives a very different perspective to. Right. I have already overstepped our time a lot, so I'll end this with a quick rapid fire to both of you. Please answer fast. So Rucha first. When you are not designing or managing projects, what do you love doing to unwind?
Exactly what I'm doing. I'm traveling or listening to classical music.
Yeah.
What about you, Madhura?
Hang out with friends and go to spa. Just pamper yourself. That's it. I love that.
Wow.
Come to Bangkok.
So, Madhura, whom do you attribute your success to?
Dr. Kelkar first, and all my family member and my partner who has been there with me since last 25 years.
Okay. What about you, Rucha?
All family members and my husband.
Okay. Unfortunately, both of your family members, your spouses are civil engineers. So, are they your greatest support in the family, or it's someone else? Rucha?
Husband.
Yeah, for me
What
also.
about
Husband
you?
and my daughter, of course. She's been a great support for me since her childhood. I mean, she never complained. I wasn't there with her when she was small, and she has been always supporting me for everything.
So, a big applause for Mukul, who is Rucha's partner, and Prasanna and Saili, who are Madhura's family. Okay, so one decision you would like to change about your past. Rucha, you can still say that I wish I would have become a CA.
No, I don't wish that because I absolutely love what I do. And in my pastime also, as a time pass also, I can do structural engineering. So I absolutely love what I do. So I don't want to become a CA anymore.
So, but still, one decision which you would like to go back and change if possible.
None actually. Do I have to have one?
It's none, then you are one of the blessed person, I'll
So I
say.
am totally, I totally am, and I have no doubts about it.
Okay, and Madhura, what about you?
I have no regrets in life. Whatever decisions I've made, wrong, right, I don't know, but I'm very happy about it. And as Rucha said, I really love my job, whatever I'm doing. So that helps.
Fantastic.
Actually. If you're passionate about your job and what you're doing, then you will always love and enjoy life.
Yeah.
Madhura, one word, only one word, huh? Sentence no koi. So only one word to sum up your entire journey of 30 plus.
Uh, Happy and successful, I would say.
Happy and successful. Okay. And what about you, Rucha?
Rewarding.
One word, huh? Again. Rewarding. Fantastic. It was lovely speaking to both of you. I'll just check if there are any more major questions, or what we can do is we will take the questions whichever are unanswered from the chat box and post it in our group. Please do answer. Take time and do answer those. Thank you so much for being here and sharing all your thoughts with us. Sheetal, you want to say something? Sheetal, are you there?
Yes, it was absolutely fantastic conversation, and that too, three civil engineers together. So, really great conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed being connected with, I'm working with both of them, so I could connect, and of course with you also. So I could connect with so many things. And one complaint, you have not answered my question only.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. So, I'm sorry, I missed it out. So, she wanted to know about glass GFRC bars, basically. So, any comment on that? Anything from your side? Why is the industry not adopting that? There is another one very interesting question. So, Sheetal, what I'll do is I'll put it in our chat box
Sure.
because it's related to sustainability also, and it's related to advanced technology. So, Punit also asked ki what kind of solutions as structural designers, what kind of solutions you can make your impact basically from sustainability perspective. So I guess those questions will put it as a discussion point in our chat box, in our WhatsApp group. I hope Rucha and Madhura takes up time to answer those.
Sure.
Yeah, and there's one more complaint for both of these busy ladies. Be little, active in the group. We really want to hear more from both of you. So please answer to these questions
Yeah.
also in the group.
Sure.
Sure.
We also enjoyed a lot, Amita, talking to you and everyone else. And Rucha, have a happy holidays.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very
It was great. It was pleasure being here.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. Thanks a ton for being here. And thanks to our lovely audience out there for joining and, cheering for these women. They have made their marks, and I hope they will continue making their presence felt in the industry. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.